Have you ever had a night that changed your life forever? The kind of night that starts in silence but ends in tears, forgiveness, and something you never thought you'd find again, hope. Stay with me till the end because this story will touch your heart in a way you'll never forget. And if it moves you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel because stories like this are meant to remind us there's still goodness in this world. It was close to midnight. The streets were quiet, the kind of stillness that makes you feel every thought louder. In a small apartment above a closed bakery, Daniel sat at his kitchen table staring at a stack of unpaid bills. His hands trembled as he looked at the photo taped to the refrigerator, his little boy Noah smiling with 2 missing front teeth. Noah was the reason Daniel kept going, even after life had beaten him down again and again. Daniel used to have a good job at a construction company, but after his wife passed away 3 years ago, everything started to fall apart. Between taking care of Noah, late-night shifts, and endless hospital bills, he'd lost his position. Now he worked as a janitor at a corporate office, mopping the marble floors where people in suits walked past him without even a glance. But tonight felt different. His body was aching and exhaustion sat heavy in his chest. He had just put Noah to bed when there was a knock on the door. Daniel frowned. It was nearly midnight. Who could it be? He wiped his hands on a towel and opened the door. And there she was, Ms. Evelyn Ross, the CEO of the very company he worked for, his boss. Daniel froze. She was wearing a dark overcoat, her hair slightly wet from the rain. "Mr. Reed," she said softly, "I'm sorry it's late, but I needed to see you." Daniel blinked, confused. "Ms. Ross, at this hour, is everything okay?" Evelyn gave a nervous smile, looking down before meeting his eyes again. "Actually, I'm not sure, but I think it might be depending on what happens tonight." She glanced inside and Daniel hesitated. The apartment wasn't much, just 2 small rooms and a kitchen, but it was clean and warm. "Please come in," he said quietly. When she stepped in, the smell of something sweet lingered in the air. "You've been baking?" she asked. Daniel nodded slightly, embarrassed. "It's Noah's favorite cinnamon cookies. He says they make the house smell like happy." Evelyn smiled at that. But Daniel noticed her eyes looked tired, like she'd been holding something heavy for a long time. They sat down at the table, and for a few seconds the only sound was the rain tapping the window. "Mr. Reed," she began softly, "I know this is strange, but earlier today I found something." She reached into her purse and pulled out a crumpled drawing, a picture of a man holding a little boy's hand under a bright sun. "One of the janitors said it belonged to your son." Daniel chuckled. "Yeah, that's Noah's. He's been drawing us everywhere lately. Says he wants to hang us on every wall in the world so I never forget how much he loves me." Evelyn's lips trembled slightly. "He's a wonderful boy." Then, after a pause, she whispered, "You remind me of someone I lost." Daniel didn't know what to say. He could see something breaking behind her calm face. I'm sorry," he said quietly. Evelyn nodded, her eyes glistening. "My husband, 2 years ago, a car accident. I buried myself in work, thinking success could fill the silence he left behind, but tonight, when I saw that drawing, it felt like a hand reaching through the dark." There was a long silence between them. Daniel looked at her, the powerful, confident woman everyone feared in the office, and saw not a CEO but a mother, a widow, a human being who had forgotten how to heal. Suddenly, a small voice interrupted them. "Daddy." Noah stood at the doorway, his hair messy and his tiny eyes blinking. "Who's that lady?" Evelyn smiled warmly. "Hi, sweetheart, I'm your daddy's boss." Noah gasped. "You're the boss." He ran to her, standing proudly. "Daddy works super hard, he even cleans after the big people." Daniel turned red. "Noah." But Evelyn laughed softly, bending down to his level. "I know he does, sweetheart, and you know what? He's the reason this place still shines." Noah grinned. "He's my hero." That night, something shifted. Evelyn stayed for tea. They talked not about work but about life, loss, and love. For the first time in years, Daniel felt seen not as a janitor but as a man who was trying his best. And for Evelyn, it was the first night she'd smiled without forcing it. Days turned into weeks. She began visiting during her lunch breaks, bringing books for Noah and sometimes helping Daniel fix small things around the apartment. They grew closer, bound not by wealth or status but by shared pain and healing. One afternoon, while Daniel was at work, Evelyn arrived unexpectedly with Noah waiting in the lobby. She had a folder in her hand. "Daniel," she said, smiling, "I need you to sign something." He frowned. "What's this?" She handed him the papers. It was an offer, a promotion. Head of maintenance, she said. Better pay, regular hours, you've earned it. Daniel's throat tightened. I don't know what to say. Say you'll accept it, she said, eyes soft, because you deserve a life where you can breathe again. Tears filled his eyes as he nodded. Thank you, Ms. Ross. Evelyn hesitated, then took his hand gently. Evelyn, she whispered, call me Evelyn. The months that followed were filled with small miracles, Noah's laughter echoing in Evelyn's home during dinners, Daniel smiling again, and a bond quietly growing between two broken hearts. And one evening, as the sun set behind the city skyline, Noah ran up to Daniel, pulling his sleeve. Daddy, can we keep her forever? Daniel looked at Evelyn, who was watching them with tears in her eyes. Maybe, he whispered, smiling, if she wants to stay. Evelyn stepped closer, cupping his hand. I'm not going anywhere.